Planet Dolan. From dressing up like an eagle to giving someone a wedgie in a store, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the most embarrassing things our parents have ever done. I'm Danger Dolan and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Baked Beans. One day, Soup was out shopping with his mum. When they were done shopping, they decided to eat at a fast food restaurant before going home. As they ate their meal, Soup's mum had to go to the bathroom. For some reason, the restaurant didn't have any restrooms. She had to go so bad that she just relieved herself right there in the restaurant. Some of the kids from Soup's school just happened to be there too, watching his mum do her business in front of the other guests. Now, whenever his friends remember that day, they don't hesitate to tease Soup about it. Number 9 was submitted by Blue Crow 42. Lost Fox has a bad habit of never putting the toilet seat down after using it. Last year, his mum got so fed up with his habit that she decided to give him an embarrassing punishment. So after dinner one night, she dropped Lost Fox off at a corner and told him to hold a sign she made. The sign said, "I leave the toilet seat up." Number 8 was submitted by Wolfie Wants More Ramen. When one of Gooby's friends was over at her house one day, in her room they were watching YouTube videos. They snuggled under the covers when Gooby's mum and dad came home. They went into Gooby's room and said hi, and found their daughter and her friend in bed under the covers. "Why did you not tell us you had a boyfriend?" asked her mum. Then her dad asked, "What are you two doing before we came in here?" Gooby was screaming internally, but calmly explained that her friend was a girl. Then her mum said, "So, you're a lesbian?" After her mum said that, Gooby just wanted to die. Number 7 was submitted by Sam Hod. When he was in 4th grade, Salty Squid got lunch detention one day. When his mum came to pick him up, she found out that he got detention that day and was pissed. So when Salty Squid came up to her, she ordered him to get on the ground. He listened, and before he knew it, his mum put her foot on his back and pushed him into the ground. All of his friends watched as his mum kept yelling, "You gonna be a good boy?" Salty Squid kept crying, "Yes!" Once she was satisfied that his son learned his lesson, she lifted a foot off him. It was a day that Salty Squid never forgot. Number 6 was submitted by Connor the Irish Lad. One day, Ramona's boyfriend came over to her house to hang out. While watching a movie, Ramona heard a loud squawk. She didn't know where it came from till she saw her stepfather come out of his bedroom. He was half naked and wearing an eagle costume. He kept squawking, totally embarrassing her. Ramona found out later that he was drunk, which didn't surprise her at all. Number 5 was submitted by Kichan6. During his freshman year of high school, James Shark had a friend who would come over every day after school. One time when coming home, James Shark noticed that the doors were locked, the lights were off, and the blinds were closed. It was something he never saw upon returning home from school. When he unlocked the door, he saw his naked mum and stepfather sprinting up the stairs. If that wasn't embarrassing enough, later on James Shark's mum came downstairs. She told the boys that they decided to have sex in the living room. It really wasn't something James Shark and his friend wanted to hear. Number 4 was submitted by Rookie. The most embarrassing thing Derek's mum ever did was when she took him to his crush's house. He really liked her and they both felt a close connection. However, he was too nervous to say anything. While at her house, Derek and his crush started talking. As he talked to her, he realized that he was truly in love. But just as he was about to tell her how he felt, Derek's mum came in and started to show his crush various pictures of him when he was a baby. One of them was him in the bathtub, which had to be the most embarrassing one of them all. He was so embarrassed that he went outside, but days later he ended up dating his crush, so in the end it all worked out. Number 3 was submitted by Forgotten Ladybug. One day, Hellbent was out with his stepmother and his siblings. His stepmother randomly decided that he needed more underwear, so they went to the underwear aisle. "What's his size?" she asked. Confused, Hellbent answered, "I don't know, my mum gets them for me." His stepmother was annoyed. She said, "Well, let's find out." Before he knew it, his stepmother was behind him. She yanked up on his underwear. Hellbent yelped at having gotten his first wedgie, with his siblings starting to laugh. "Not here," she said. Some of the people in the store began to come over to the underwear aisle to see what was going on. His stepmother went to the side and once again yanked up on his underwear. Hellbent let out another loud yelp. "Not here either," she said, and went to the other side. He prayed that the tag with the size on it was on the side. She yanked up on his underwear once more, and there was a tag with the size on it. Not only did Hellbent's stepmother give him a major wedgie in front of a group of strangers, but she also ripped his underwear. Embarrassed and trying desperately to slide his underwear back under his pants, his stepmother said, "Stop embarrassing me." Hellbent cried, "You just gave me a super wedgie." His stepmother replied, "Then you should have known your underwear size." Number 2 was submitted by Princess Shireen. Princess Proton and her family went to a seafood restaurant one time. When the waiter came by and took their orders, Proton's mum childishly demanded to know why a certain drink that she liked wasn't on the menu. The waiter politely explained that they occasionally rotate their menu items, so her mum pouted and demanded that they make the drink for her anyway. They did, but when the drink was served, she had a loud hissy fit. In fact, it was so loud that all the other staff and patrons could hear her. She kicked and screamed, cursed, and pounded her fists on the table, almost knocking the whole thing over. The whole reason she threw a hissy fit was because the drink wasn't made the way she wanted. Princess Proton and her sister hid their faces in embarrassment while their poor dad muttered curses under his breath at his wife's childish behavior. Proton and her sister avoided eye contact with the other patrons for the rest of the visit. Number 1 was submitted by I Like Beans LeMayo. One time when she was in 5th grade, Pecan was waiting for her mum to pick her up. Her mum loved to purposely embarrass her by making things up about her in front of the class. When she entered the classroom, she said to the teacher, "I'm here to pick Pecan up," which was normal. But before they left the classroom, her mum told her that she had chocolate on her face, which she didn't. So her mum bent down, licked her finger and wiped a spot on her face. Then she proceeded to say, "I packed your blanket to make sure you don't wet yourself while you were away. I also packed you lollipops so you won't have another tantrum." It was one of the worst days of Pecan's life. Huge thanks to the folks of the Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's the most embarrassing thing your partner has ever done? Let us know on the Reddit page linked below and you might be featured in a future countdown.